Oh man, so we are live, people. We are live right now, and we about to go through. I put day 3 on the video. This is day 4, ain't it? This is day 4 of the Diddy trial, I believe. I gotta fix the caption. I gotta fix everything on the back end of the YouTube channel. But as I'm getting that prepared and people are getting the notifications sent out to them, I'm letting y'all know we got a pretty lengthy live today, going over a few things. We are catching up with day 4 of Diddy and Cassie. Well, Diddy's trial with Cassie testifying. She is testifying today. And she's being cross-examined. Now the defense, they're having their turn for their crack at her and seeing if they could poke some holes into the prosecution's case. All right. So we're going to go over what Cassie has to say while she's being cross-examined. And also we're going to be tapping into some more things once we finishing this as far as that full testimony. And also with other situations, if you stay here for the entire live, you'll see me speaking on some other things, catching up on the situation with DDG and Halle Bailey and what's going on with that. Some Tory Lanez situation, that's one, some more stuff. And also there's some more random topics that we're going to just vibe out and cool out on the court stuff and just have some fun and talk about some things. I'm letting y'all know right now that these live streams, dog, they've been getting yellow marked. A lot of yellow marks. That means once I put the live stream up, they take off all the monetization or limit the monetization. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to open up a members only section. So once the live streams are done, if you want to watch the full unfiltered live stream, I'm going to put those in the members only section. It's not available now, but once probably tomorrow that'll be available. And the clips from the lives and more important things, they'll be censored and they'll be released as a main channel upload on some regular type shit. All right. Now, let me go ahead and let people know on the community tab that we are up and running, so we can get the chat live and popping. If you are in the chat right now, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Let me know where you're from so we can get the vibes going before I go through the testimony and see what. Let me go. Cassie saying today. All right, let me share on the community tab. Let folks know we live. Boom, 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 boom. All right, there we go. All right, so as of now, what I'm seeing, I haven't read everything because I like doing like live readings because I'm reacting to the thing at the same time as you. It's like reading a book, and you guys can see my natural reaction to the news that I'm seeing. So as of yesterday, I thought that the prosecution did a good job as far as laying out the facts for their case. Their charges is on racketeering, also sex trafficking and things of that sort. And it made sense as far as why they did everything, why they said everything before with the abuse. They try to make it seem like Cassie can't leave because she's afraid to leave because this nigga will beat her ass. And also, yesterday's when they really drove home the point as far as them traveling to different states, sometimes even leaving America for freak-offs, and sometimes some sex workers traveling with them. Now, initially when I spoke on the situation yesterday, I was just like, okay, Cassie alone is the victim in the situation, so it depends on whether she wants to go or not. And if anytime she says she didn't want to do the freak-offs and she was still doing them, that can be considered sex trafficking. But I'm also seeing some conversations with people saying that it doesn't even matter if she wants to do it or not, because they are still taking prostitutes, escorts with them as well on these trips for the freak-offs. So they're paying them for the freak-offs. That is sex trafficking as well. And Cassie, it made sense when Cassie said what she said as far as the reason why she's testifying in this case right now is because she felt bad about what she did and how she used the different escorts and things of that sort. Because Bradford Cohen said a long time ago, that is dude that's known for being Kodak Black's lawyer, also was on The Apprentice with Trump. He said a long time ago that Cassie is going to have to testify, because if not, she is an accomplice. She is a co-defendant low-key, because she was also paying these prostitutes and going here and there with them. So she's going to have to testify. If not, you get charged too, low-key, because you admitted to being a part of this organization that the prosecution is trying to paint to be. Now, what pointed out, everyone's going crazy over that I'm seeing, just as I haven't really looked at everything yet, it's this text message right here when Cassie says too puffy in 2009. When do you want to freak off? She says, I'm always ready to freak off. Now that was in 2009. A lot of things have happened past that point. That is something that could stick and permeate get into the juror's mind with her saying that she's always ready to freak off. But as we know, as we've seen before in several different other cases, consent can stop at some point. All right, so that's the thing. That was in 2009. They said this shit was going on for 10 years, almost 10 years. Consent can eventually stop. No matter how me and you may feel about it, we may be like, nah, fuck all that. Nah, she enjoyed that shit. In the court of law, if at any point she said, I don't want to do this anymore, and she was forced to continue to do it, whether by being blackmailed or however, then it could stick that she was doing it against her will. But the jury, though, will they be convinced with messages like this? We gonna see. Now, let's see exactly what the jury heard today. All right, let's see what they heard today, man. Boom, boom, boom. What's up, Dasa? Chris Brown in the chat, man, sounded like she just accepted her lifestyle and not actually wanted to do it. She was just being down with it for a while. That's the thing. All right, so this is my first time seeing all of this. Let's get into it, okay? So I'm going to find the first time I see Ventura in here. Now, the argument that they was having earlier that I did see is that they were arguing about whether or not they were going to allow Cassie to be questioned by the defense leading until next week. But they saying, nah, we've been knew for the longest that she cannot stay here for longer than this week. So I'm kind of confused because I know they want to redirect at some point. The prosecution is going to want to redirect after the defense is finished. But the prosecution, like, man, give them a day and a half like y'all gave us a day and a half. But Cassie's not going to be going on no longer than tomorrow. But let's go ahead and continue to get back to where we need to get to. Okay. So where are we? They have a lady. A lady is questioning Cassie. It's always important to understand the optics that the jury is seeing. This lady name is what it is? Estavo. All right. Now Ventura and Estavo, they have the conversation and pops off with her asking her, Miss Ventura, you love Mr. Combs, correct? She says, I did. So for 11 years, you took care of him. In some ways, you called him larger than life. I did. Others called him Diddy or Puff Daddy, but you called him Sean, right? Yes, you knew a version of him the rest of the world couldn't see, right? Objection, overruled. In ways, you kept coming back to him for 11 years. I wouldn't say coming back, but you believed he loved you too. I did believe he loved me too. So when he cheated on you, it hurt? Not every time. So Estavo says, bringing up this defense is exhibit, but objection, not in evidence. Not the state, but the government quickly objects it. So the judge says that's true. It's not an evidence. So Estavo says, Miss Ventura, read it just to yourself. Why did you send this? To let him know I was going to dinner. Okay, what was going on when these messages were sent? I'm not sure. What was going on in your relationship then? It was early. We were loving. I offer it. Objection being offered for the truth overruled. Please read. I wrote, I love you, smiley face. I'll fly anywhere for you. I love you, Cass. This 2009 email, objection, hearsay. Mr. Stavo asked more questions from BlackBerry. What is BG? Baby girl. Okay. So I like doing this, pointing out what they're trying to do when they answer the questions. I'll fly anywhere for you. I love you. They're trying to establish that she would travel anywhere with them under her will. Okay. It is voluntarily. It's consented. It's consent when she flies with them. That's what they're trying to establish to combat the sex trafficking allegations. Okay. Now, Estavo asked, what did you write? You hungry, pop, pop. And Mr. Combs wrote to you, we are so in love, we don't do anything else. How long had you been seeing each other's? Like 2.5 years. So please read this, 1364. I haven't talked to you at all. You don't even try. You rush me off the phone. I'm really hurt. I don't need your money. I need some attention. You wanted your special time with Mr. Combs. Yes. You testified that you told him, I love you so much, you make me a better woman. I definitely wrote those messages. You wrote, I can't wait until we have a baby of our own. You knew that he had 6 children at the time. Yes. So now these messages are about freak-offs. When you say you don't, when you say you know it doesn't matter to me, you mean weekend or weekday, either is fine. That's what it says. Mr. Combs says, maybe we can call Jules. Can you do it? Yes. So this was an explicit message from you about the anticipated upcoming freak off. Objection. So that's when they went on a little break right there, a little recess, and they came back and Gustavo kept going. She says, Miss Ventura, this is from Mr. Combs to you. You respond with an extremely explicit message, right? Yes. This is 2 days after the planning of a freak off, right? Yes. He said, I want to see. How did you reply? I can't wait either. You wrote, I feel like I want to. Look, right. That's what it says. Mr. Combs says, I'm so horny I can't concentrate. And what do you say? That I'll go to Dwayne Reed for candles and then set up the room. Did you understand that he was going to take another video of you? Objection, speculation. Mr. Savo, you can move on. You asked, any pills on you? Yes. What pills were you taking then? Opiates. You deleted videos on your devices, right? Yes. What did you write? That I need to feel this is my husband, the only one who will see this side of me. Were you afraid that Mr. Combs was only seeing you for sex in this way? That was a concern. You still were not public in your relationship with him. Correct. Were freak-offs important? Integral to us. God damn. All right, so who was at your 21st birthday party in Las Vegas? Britney Spears and Dallas Austin. How did you get them there? They came for Sean. You're very beautiful and charming. Thank you. What the fuck? It's true. The hell? Okay, whatever. Stop flirting a little bit of some shit. Nah, that's a little okay, whatever. All right, so who is Tommy Mottola? A well-known producer. You were an up-and-coming star, I guess you could say that. After you signed with Bad Boy, things were still platonic? Yes. So you had a rough performance. On a Citizen Park, it did not go well for me. How did he help you after that? We did a YouTube video. He said, everybody makes mistakes. What was wrong? I couldn't hear myself. So you were dating Mr. Leslie. How much older than you was he? 10 years. Then you traveled to Miami with Mr. Combs. The flyer of the event was just a cover to spend time with Mr. Combs, right? That's true. So Mr. Leslie is Ryan Leslie, the producer. That's he had that My Addiction, that song right there. That was like, I was legit when that came out. All right, so you had a tattoo of Mr. Leslie's initials on your body, right? Yes. How many tattoos did you have then? Objection, relevance, overruled, but let's keep it moving. 3, the one on your arm, no regrets. All right, Mr. Combs taught you how to do oral sex. He did. Look at this. Tell me when you're ready. Can you read it? You can read it. It's making me laugh. It's from 2007. You wrote, I feel protected. You are sweet. You wrote, I see that Carrie is better fitting for you. I'm hurt that you think I'm malicious. You're very important to me, ex-Cass. So Cassie laughs. What were you trying to convey? It's like a journal entry. You discussed Carrie Morgan. Did you think Mr. Combs was attracted to her? There was a point in the very beginning. Did that complication carry on in your relationship? Not really. Carrie was just always with us. All right. So I like to start asking about freak off. Sometimes you wore a wig and a mask. Yes. The general public didn't know. Objection. Rephrase. No one knew until November 2023 in the public. Yes. Fair to say his career was ruined after your lawsuit. I can understand that. Let's read these messages. Mr. Combs wrote, when are you on your period? No, now. What you be thinking about when you horny? Miss Ventura, if you don't want to read the answers, I can read them. Thank you. Okay. The O has lots of oohs after them, right? Yes. After a freak off, you make love with Mr. Combs. Yes. Okay. Your period, Mr. Combs is asking you when you're on it, right? Yep. He's asking in the context of when to meet up and have sex. Looks like it. Sometimes you watch him with a female 2 or 3 times. Okay, so they have females in the situation too. There are ladies in the situation too, and she will watch Puffy with the women. Never knew that. All right. Did you talk with Mr. Combs about the swingers lifestyle? That no one talks about it. Were you keeping freak-offs secret from your friends? Yes. His assistants will help him with everything. All right. So you would remember if an assistant came in during one of your sessions with an escort. Not necessarily I was high. So you don't remember much. I had my privacy invaded a lot during that relationship. All right. That's the part right there that's going to that caught her when she said she was high. Then they asked, so you don't remember much? That could be a problem for Cassie because you know many other details, but right there you don't remember much. I don't know. Would it be a problem? I don't know, but sometimes people, they harp on details like that, okay? All right, so this is from July 2012. You say to Mr. Combs, I'm horny and bored. This was after a freak off, right? There are a lot of texts here. So said to be 25 pages where will defense exhibits ostensibly enter into evidence be available. So I would ask that the witness be allowed to read the entire document. How many pages? 8. We don't have a copy for the witness. We'll show it on the screen, but not in the public gallery. So there's a lot of things that they're not showing to the public gallery because there's some sensitive things, and they don't want the media to get their hands on it. Like, as well as they seen, like, I didn't go over yesterday because I didn't know, but the jury did see some still images from the freak offs, and they were going crazy. Like, their faces was looking like, what the fuck is this type of shit? So the jury did see some of the freak off stuff already. Now, I don't know if they've seen the full videos, but they aren't showing that to the public, okay? Just the witnesses and, of course, the defense and the jury. So let's continue. So you said Mr. Combs often put you down, but he also sent your encouragement and called you a queen, right? Yes. So what would trigger Mr. Combs' incessant calls to you? Anger, doubt about where I was. So if he suspected you of cheating, he'd call you incessantly. That was one of the reasons, because he thought objection. That's a thing. Do you believe Mr. Combs has good taste? I think he does. He's had an impact on fashion. People like his style, Sean John. Did you consult with him on your look? Sometimes I got advice I didn't ask for. He still ran his companies even while having all these freak offs, right? He did. What was he addicted to? Success. What substances? Opiates. That's funny that she said that shit, though. She even laughed at it. But they was asking about drugs. Okay. What substances? Opiates. Yes, he told me and I saw it. Okay, so he was addicted to opiates, okay? So did Mr. Combs' mood depend on whether or not he was withdrawing from opiates? Oh, okay. He was more irritable, I would say. What other drugs was Mr. Combs addicted to? Objection, no foundation. I'll ask if I want the grounds. Sustain, rephrase. What was his drug of choice? Ecstasy or MDA? Opiates daily when he was doing them. You saw him withdraw? Yes. We'll break. Okay, so right here, they're trying to establish the shit that he was saying in that video, saying around that time he was dealing with substance abuse. Remember the video when he apologized to Cassie? He talked about dealing with substance abuse issues, and whenever he relapsed, he was tripping out and stuff. So that's the defense trying to establish that the things that he may have done, he wasn't in his right mind. So he's not just this monster. When he was withdrawn because of the drugs, he would go crazy, you know? That's what they trying to establish, all right? So let's continue. So they get back where we at. All right, here we go. So let's turn to GX411. It's not an evidence yet, okay? So B414, page 3 and 4, you wrote, I love our freak-offs. When we both want it, you felt that? I love our freak-offs. When we both want it, you felt that. So that's crazy when she said that, though. You can't overlook that. She says, when we both want it, you felt that. But at some point, she loved them, okay? So she says, love and freak-offs were just words at that point. Mr. Combs wrote to you, I want to freak out right now, and you wrote that you wanted it too. LOL, me too. I text more than that. But you did text that to him. Mr. Combs wrote to you, Jules is available if you are into it. That terminology right there is interesting too. If he texts her, like, come on, this is like, you can't even ignore that shit. If he texts her, Jules is available if you are into it, is that asking for consent? Let me know what y'all think. Y'all the jurors. Like, let me know. Let me know. You could have said yes or no, and you said, love you. She says, there is no yes or no. Okay, so bring up B420 on page 2. Mr. Combs wrote, do I have your permission to set up freaky fun? You wrote ovulation. Yes. Okay. Okay. Once again, y'all in the chat, y'all the jurors. That's once again with him asking, do I have your permission to set up freaky fun? You wrote ovulation. So she is responding with her response, like ovulation. I guess the reason she's not doing it, she doesn't want it. Sometimes I hear ladies are extra freaky when they're ovulating. You know, I've heard that before too. So, or extra horny. All right. So here, what did you say? I asked which hotel. I must have called him in between. I don't want to assume anything. Okay. He said, Montague. And you said, you could also go to Pleasure Chess. What would you get there? Sexual supplies. Okay, what supplies? Lubricants, outfits. He says, have fun, impress me. You say, okay. He says, can we kiss a lot? What did you say? Yes. You wrote, I left the iPad. I don't know whose iPad this meant. Mr. Combs wrote, I'll be there right before my session. I'll be there right after my session. This was in June 2017. Do you remember arguments you were having at that time? No, not specifically. Here you say the game started at 10 p.m. No breaking characters to 8 a.m. This was a game a friend of mine told me, a way to rekindle your romance. Okay, so by doing something different in the bedroom, it's a whole getting into character thing. Mr. Combs says, let's get some outfits and go to a sex club. All right, so Mr. Combs wrote, surprise package coming from out of state. Why can't I reach you? What did you say? I was getting my brows done, okay? Did you come to know Mr. Combs was leaving to freak off to go see Kim Porter? Yes. So how did you find out about Gina? How did you feel? Did it upset you? Yes. It prompted argument. So Gina, that's the girl, she came out years ago and said that Puff used to beat her up. And also that's the girl that Young Miami was going back and forth with when Young Miami said, if I wanted to, I got Puff will make you eat my pussy. That's Gina. Okay. Now, so Ventura, yes. After she found out about Gina, it prompted arguments. It did, and he thought you were not faithful. What was his reactions? It was scary. So Mr. Combs wrote to you, let's do something different in New York City this weekend. FYI, Dave hit me. What does it mean? What does hit mean? Reached out, and Daniel contacted you. Did this mean you might have a freak off? Might. He tells you you better put me on VIP vibrate alarm or something. He's frustrated you don't answer his text fast enough. Right. You tell him to come to New York City, understanding there could be a freak off. Maybe. You also saw the Book of Mormon. Yes. Max Pleasure, if that is that a sex club? I would assume. He asked, are you ready for tonight? What do you say? Yes, I just have to get some things. All right, so this is not about what I felt, right? Because you are skipping over a lot here. So this is Cassie saying that. She says, what did you write? As much as you think you're Bruce Willis, you're not. Your kids were babies when we started dating. If you saw him on social media on vacation, it was heartbreaking. She says it could be. I was 7 years in. And what about this about Gina? You wrote, I don't want to be a side piece, but I'll treat you as a king. Then she thought she was a side chick at that point in time? God damn. Hell no. So you wanted to be his main girl? In 2013, yes. You saw social media posters of Mr. Combs with other girlfriends and got angry, right? Can I speak? I was jealous of certain situations. So did there come a time he suspected you were in a relationship with someone in the industry, Mr. Muscuddy? That's Kid Cudi. Yes. Mr. Combs thought it can be good for your career if you collaborated with Mr. Cudi. I mean, Mr. Muscuddy. Yes. So why did you begin your relationship with Mr. Muscuddy? We enjoyed each other's company. You were in a relationship with Mr. Combs. We were on a break. But you were still doing freak offs with him. Yes. Damn, Kid Cudi. That's crazy to find out, huh? If you find this out for the first time, like right here, like, damn, the whole time I'm thinking we in a relationship, you doing these crazy freak offs. Hell no. All right. So after Mr. Combs found out by going through your phone, you went to see him. You knew he was upset. He previously attacked you. Yes, I thought I'd be safer with other people. So they took a break. All right. We back at it over here. So, okay, let's get back. Let's get Miss Ventura back and the jury. So your affair with Mr. Muscuddy was only a month long, but you got a burner phone for it. Right. Mr. Combs kicked you in the back. Yes. This came up later in your relationship that you had cheated on him with with Kid Cudi. He brought it up quite a bit. When he cheated, he said, well, you had an affair with Kid Cudi, right? Sometimes. He suspected you of having an affair with another person in the industry and you were in South Africa filming. Yes. Honey 3. While you were there, you saw a photo of Mr. Combs with Gina and were irate, right? Angry. You blocked him and focused on the movie, right? I tried my best. Mr. Combs suspected you of a relationship with whom? Michael B. Jordan. Well, Michael B. Jordan probably had the crib like, God damn, nigga, what the fuck? I'm trying to mind my business with my white chicks. But he probably does, like, you know, have this having another racial ambiguous girl. Show him love, you feel me? or be being brought up by him as a love interest. All right, so you sent a video not only to Mr. Combs but also to a staff. Who? D-Rock? Yes. You sent it to them because you were angry with all of them. I was hurt. I spent all my time with them. You thought they were in on it. The physical abuse, when did your father learn about it? Same time as my mother. Did Mr. Combs come to Connecticut to speak to your parents? I don't know if it was then. Carrie Morgan knew about the abuse? Yes. The eyebrow gash incident, what was it about? I didn't answer the phone and went to sleep. I was supposed to be packing for a trip. He was inebriated? I don't remember that. Why were you asleep? A drink at the Abbey had something in it, I think. Did Mr. Combs ever abuse you while he was inebriated? Didn't say he didn't remember. Yes. Did you feel he was not taking responsibility? Yes. For drugs, you'd both go to rehab. Rehab wasn't really a thing during our relationship. The free calls were an opportunity for you to take drugs together. Yes. You went a lot to Burning Man. Yes. Oh, so she went to Burning Man too. Yesterday she said she only mentioned him when she said that he asked her if she wanted to go to Burning Man, but I guess in the past that was a thing that they occasionally did. Burning Man once again is a festival where people just be on crazy drugs and drunk and be naked and doing nasty freaky shit. All right. So did you ever call yourselves get high partners? We did. Did you take drugs from him without knowing it? Yes. What was the reaction? Explosive. Did he tell LA dealers not to deal you? Yes. Whoa, okay. So you told Mr. Combs that you learned only after the fact that Mr. Combs had dangled Miss Bongalon off the balcony. I'm not sure. You were on drugs? I'm not sure. You got a life coach for your drug use according to the document. I don't know who that person is. You were doing a lot of drugs. It was a rough time. So you tried to get into rehab, the Golden Door. It was a spa. There was a time I lost all sense of smell and taste and woke up in the hospital with the IV in my arm. I tried then to get help. All right, so the time at the San Bernardino, you learned that he had overdose. What? So I guess Puffy overdosed at some point in time, all right? My bad, my dog, man, but let me get through this. So the time at the San Bernardino, you learned that he had overdose. Okay, a very strong opiate, yes. Were you ever not addicted to painkillers? We took Ibogaine. Where did you get it? Cancun, Mexico, separately. So when Mr. Combs threw you off the boat in Cairns, when he accused you of taking drugs and squeezed your leg, among other things, but you still wanted to be with him, I did. All right, so switching topics. When you saw Mr. Combs went with guns to find Suge Knight, do you remember telling the government that you did go with them? No. So let me show you. So just for the parties. All right, so I did not go with them, so I don't think I said that. All right, so you also did drugs with Miss Morgan, right? Yes. Do you recall telling the government that you did not set what he did, hitting her head with a wooden hanger? So that's when she hit Carrie Morgan, her friend, with a wooden hanger. Okay. I saw the hanger. I saw he was angry and that I was doing drugs with Carrie. So this broke up your 17-year friendship with her? It did. Did you tell Mr. Combs about your relationship with your now husband? No. So Miss Morgan sued you and Mr. Combs made a demand. So you paid for that. You paid for part of that. I did. Oh. And haven't spoke with her since? Maybe one text. That was the relationship ender. Yes. Okay, so the friend that got hit, because I did hear about the situation with Puffy hitting a friend. He sued her. The friend won. And Cassie paid some of the money for it. And that's when he stopped being cool. Okay. So you would heat up the baby oil. Yes. Now, is this from the day before the Intercontinental Hotel incident? This is a long document. We didn't need time to read it. Okay. So they took a break. All right. This is right before we came back from the break. Let me click here and refresh the page. Boom. All right. So this is going to be the last little string before we wrap up this portion. All right. So where we at? All right, so is this from March 4th with UC time? It is March 3rd. Okay, Mr. Combs refers to accessories for the premiere. So you sent him an explicit message, yes. He responded with a number of M's. He wrote, too bad you have to work, LOL. He did. You asked him, are you feeling better? Then he's discussing bodily function, yes. All right, so it says, could we just clarify what time the message is already from with UCT? There's a stipulation on that. See below, okay. So this is some of the mess. What is stipulated? Boom, boom, boom. All right. So Mr. Holmes went to your premiere lunch at London. He did. Then he says, I just got out of a spiritual therapy session. I asked, how did it go? He said, it's a process. This is leading up to the hotel incident. Okay. You say, baby, I want to freak off so bad. You were asked in your direct and said you didn't want him to ruin your premiere. Sure. Mr. Combs says, if we start at 7 p.m. and go until 4 a.m., you can get enough rest after, okay? So he's saying it'll be shorter than the usual freak off. That's how I will understand it. What did you say? Carrie is here. We can't do it at my house. You say that guy is sick. I'm not going to ask you what you meant. So you were turning to Johnny. Was he a dancer or an escort? We hired him as a dancer, but he did what an escort does. Do you remember the beginning of this freak off in the Intercontinental? Not really. The drugs were MDMA, right? I have no idea. So it's 5 o'clock. The jurors may go home. Do not look up anything about this case. All right. So, all right. That right there is the full day of today's testimonies. I'm going to tell you right now, some of the messages, they will cast doubt in my mind if I'm a juror. They'll cast some doubt in my mind because it seems like there was a point in time where she wanted to do the freak offs. And you don't know, like, it's also, you know, it's like being abused is manipulation as well. And also, if she did fear moving on, that's the thing too. But it's going to be, it's going, like, say for instance, right now, I know it's a long trial, it's supposed to be 8 weeks long. But if the jurors did go back to talk about the situation, there will be people on both sides at this point in time wondering, like, okay, she said this, that she wanted to do it. She loved him at this point in time. Other people be saying, but hey, eventually she said she stopped wanting to do it because consent can't end at some point in time as well. So all those things are relevant, and that's the situation as of today. So I think with what they can do, the defense did a pretty good job. The prosecution did their job, and the defense did their job too today. There is no smoking gun in this case. I keep saying that over and over again. There is no smoking gun. So what y'all think in the chat so far, man? Yeah, they're saying it's supposed to be 8 weeks, dog. Yeah, there's no smoking gun in this case. It's going to be a lot going on. But how do y'all think the defense did today in the cross-examination based on the testimony we just read? In the meantime, I'm going to see if there's anyone that's walked out. Usually people that walked out the trial, they say how they felt things went. There was a lady that I covered yesterday. Let me see if I can find see what she said, because I do always love seeing people's opinions on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, here she go right here. Boom. Alright. I'm gonna go check on this dang dog, bro. I got a big ass baby. He must hear somebody outside. So I gotta see what the hell he got going on. Let's see why he tripping. I'm gonna play so y'all let y'all hear what she has to say, then I'm gonna come right back. Give me a little second. Hold on. Whoa.
Lunchtime update. Cassie on the stand, her first day of cross-examination, and I don't want to say it's super intense because Diddy's lawyer, Anna Estevea, she's doing an amazing job at being very gentle. I mean, Cassie and her have exchanged a few laughs while she was on the stand, which I thought was pretty incredible. And additionally, there's a lot of explicit graphic text that we're seeing from Cassie to Diddy and vice versa. And Estevea is saying, look, if you don't want to read these, you don't have to, which I thought was really nice. Also, when Cassie answers and it's kind of a yes or no question, Estevea isn't like, it's yes or no. She's being very, very calm and very kind. Now, what we saw, like, right off the bat here was a conversation via BlackBerry between Diddy and Cassie about 2.5 years into their relationship. And remember, at this point, Cassie testified during direct that he had abused her. She didn't want to do freak offs, you know, all this stuff. And she actually said that he said, you know, I miss you already. When do you want to FO? That was Diddy. And she said, I'm always ready to FO. And again, this was August of 2009, about 2 years into their relationship. They talk about when it would be best for them. And then they talk about getting an escort involved. And then we see a text message that says, I can't wait to stare at your BBD. You guys know what I'm talking about. And again, lawyer did not make her say it out loud. There's, yeah, a lot of explicit text messages. And look, I think some of the takeaways here at what the defense is doing and what they're eliciting out of Cassie is, again, the email saying she loves him after these FOs. And don't get mad at me. Don't tell me, I understand how trauma works, but I'm just relaying all this to you guys.
Bro, I know that shit, how that shit feel, dog. People, you say one piece of information, and you just being neutral and just delivering the information, especially how it was delivered initially. But somebody that may not be on that side and they don't want to hear it, they will kill your ass for being a messenger. So I feel she's saying, like, don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you what the folks saying, all right?
Eliciting out of Cassie is, again, the email saying she loves him after these FOs. And don't get mad at me. Don't tell me, I understand how trauma works, but I'm just relaying all this to you guys. So Cassie testified that she had to do freak offs during her period. And we were shown an email where Diddy, for FO planning purposes, asks her when she's getting her period. And she says she's skipping it that month. Additionally, she testified that she didn't want to be a swinger because she didn't want to see him with another woman. Well, we see an exchange where she says she has a fantasy about seeing him with another woman. And I'm paraphrasing here. She also says at one point that, quote, she'd travel anywhere to be with him. And this is while they are discussing an FO in this one message, this BlackBerry message. Another big thing here is the drug talk and the opioid talk. So Cassie testified that Diddy told her he was addicted to opioids. And the defense is basically saying, well, did you see him try to get off these opioids or come down from them? And she said, yeah. And then they said, well, that makes one volatile, angry. And again, I'm paraphrasing, but basically what they were alluding to is that Diddy's violent behavior and aggressive behavior and all of his mood swings that she talked about were because he was coming down from opioids. Let me make sure. I feel like I have so many notes from today. Again, a lot of graphic messages, mainly about Cassie saying how much she liked it after it happened. It was so good, and she's talking about FOs. Oh, something really big that they're trying to prove here. Cassie felt like she didn't have the words to relate to Diddy because she was so young that she didn't want to do this and yada yada, referring to the FOs. Well, we've seen a lot of messages from Cassie to Diddy that are paragraphs, let's say, explaining certain things to him, really seeming to wear her heart on her sleeve. At one point she said, look, I'm unsure about the FOs because I feel like, before when we were doing them, and this is a few years into their relationship, she said, before we were doing them, I could spend time with you after. Now we're doing them and you're leaving right away for work and I'm not getting that time with you. So the defense is kind of like, well, it looks like she's able to communicate this stuff. And is it fair to say that this is the reason that you didn't want to do freak offs, not everything that you testified yesterday? Again, don't get mad at me. I'm just explaining about what the defense's strategy seems to be and what they're going for. They also went into the fact that, look, you testified that it would take you days to come down from these FOs and you would waste so much time of your life trying to recover. Diddy was doing the same thing. He was coming down from these too. Is it fair to say that he was still running a business, running running his own life, running Bad Boy Records and traveling here and there, basically saying, well, he was fine. He didn't have to recover for days. That's your problem. Again, just some observations. Cassie doing a great job holding it together, so calm, so poised. And Anna Estevea, really great. I mean, a lot of defense attorneys can badger these witnesses and really come across unlikable to the jury. But like I said, they're sharing laughs. They, she's not too aggressive. She's getting her point across without being a jerk. So
listen, at the end of the day, Cassie going home and she got 20 million in the bank. 20 million in the bank. So if that nigga free or not, she don't give a fuck. She don't give a damn. She's just trying to make sure she says what she got to say and leave. She don't care. She's exposed him enough that he's getting ashamed and she's good to go. So the lady even said you are very, what she said, charismatic or stunning or some shit. The lady was low-key flirting with it too. Probably got a little horny herself reading the damn freak off messages. Estavio, whatever her name is, Astavo.
I will give you guys more later, and I mean, you're probably going to see it printed on TMZ everywhere else, but these text messages are so graphic, and I just feel so bad for Cassie because she was so young, and to have her sex life just plastered, you know, on these big screens and of course across the media world, crazy. Oh, we also saw this morning in line, we saw her brother walk in. Her husband is not in the courtroom because he can't be, because he may be called as a witness and they're getting into some things that he shouldn't hear. But he was here yesterday. But anyway, more later. Thanks, guys.
I hear you being bad, feeling sad for Cassie, but Cassie took a calculated risk, and that calculation was $20 million. Cassie understood the decision that she made. Her husband fine with it. $20 million in the bank. She coming to do this shit, and it's the last of her worries. After this week, she moving on to happily ever after. But you know, do y'all think 20 million was worth her troubles? She felt 30 million was initially, so 20 million put in that ballpark. All right, so based on what she was saying, like, you know, it just comes down to, as I stated earlier, the jury watching the situation. Do they think she wanted to do the freak offs or not? Today, it probably casted a lot of doubt in some people's minds because it made it seem like she wanted to do the freak offs. Someone else is going to be in that jury is going to say, okay, but at some point, did she stop wanting to do the freak offs? That's the question of the day. That's what the jury has to figure out. But if there's some doubt in there, y'all know what happens when there's some doubt. You have to convict beyond reasonable doubt. Now, once again, I told y'all before, there are some people that have like said some things as far as just the fact that they even had other sex workers traveling with them as well. Even if those people wanted to do the shit and they was paying them, that still can be considered sex trafficking. I'm not sure on that, but that's just an argument that I've heard from other people. So I'm sharing it with you guys to just to throw another perspective in there, because that still may be something that, you know, the defense team has to worry about. But maybe when they speak to these escorts where they cross-examine them, you know, they could try to figure that out as far as how they're going to, you know, fight against that possible angle. All right, because Cassie, once again, is also coming from the perspective of not only a victim, but an accomplice. Because I said a while ago, Bradford Cohen, the lawyer, said that she has to testify, because if not, she could be wrapped up into these charges too. But okay, they do have some clips from the end of the court day. This is Cassie's husband. This man got to be a strong ass man hearing all this shit. But he know what he signed up for. I'm pretty sure she would go and vent to him about everything. So this is Alice Fine.
How come I don't see him? Where is he?
All right, so they asking the husband how you feeling after today. Man, that man got some bread in the bank. You know, he gonna come up there and say what he gotta say, because the defense told them to get him out the courtroom. They wanted him out the courtroom. They don't want him to hear Cassie's testimony because they want to be able to question him. We gonna see what their plan is when it comes to bringing him into the situation. Once again, Diddy's team wants to question Cassie's husband. That should be very interesting. That should be very, very interesting. I'm trying to see if we can find some more fresh out people leaving the courtroom and seeing their opinions on what happened today. What y'all think? Let me see what y'all say in the chat. You know, let's get some conversations in the chat going. Shout out to the Zos in the chat, man. Y'all know it's funny. What we got? What's going on? What's going on? Saying she a dope fiend. My thing is, multiple times she had to get away or escape, and yet she went back and stayed. She was down with all that shit. Too many times she could have left. Eagles win the Super Bowl again? Probably, man. Saying take that 20 mil and put on the Eagles. That'd be crazy though, man. But they do got a crazy team, man. Diddy will beat this case just like Jalen Hurts did to Patrick Mahomes. All right, so if she set it up, does she get the charge? She's cooperating. That's the thing about it. That's why she has to cooperate. That's why she has to testify. And let me see if I can go back and pull up the thing she said yesterday. The last thing she said yesterday, it was very telling. And that will let you know, really what's going on, why she has to cooperate, why she has to testify. I'm trying to get to it. Boom, 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 boom. Where's that? Hold on, give me a second. That was the 14th, right? Where is it? All right, here we go. All right, this is when she's talking about the money is set up for $20 million in 24 hours. Here we go. Okay, so what happened in the lawsuit? So they're talking about the lawsuit. So it's set up for $20 million in 24 hours. Why are you testifying in this trial? I can't carry this anymore. What's wrong is wrong. I tried people like there were disposable escorts, anybody. So she's technically an accomplice. She's a part of the racketeering. Cassie's a part of the racketeering organization. And if you guys missed it earlier, when she said the freak-offs started to feel like a job. I don't know, it's probably way up there, but yesterday she said the freak-offs were starting to feel like a job. That verbiage, that's huge for the prosecution because it makes it seem like this is the organization. Just everyone trying to make sure things go the right way for Diddy so he can get his sexual aroused, his fantasies off. All right. So that's a big thing. All right. So how many freak offs did you have with Sean? Impossible to know. Hundreds. After you broke up with Sean, did you ever do freak offs again? No. So this didn't continue in other relationships. This is something that was specifically done with him. So that's, that's the angle, man. That's the angle, though. All right. So Boosie. Boosie badass, man. This man has been very vocal the past couple of days. This is the latest thing he said. I don't see no crimes committed in this case. The no way. This is no way a RICO charge. You shouldn't be sent to jail for being a freak. This is a case of two freaks in a relationship having ups and downs. Anyone who thinks he should be given a life sentence is sick. The government never arrested Hugh Hefner for his freak-offs and 18-year-old girls living with him and drugging him. Only thing I see is a domestic violence charge. That's Boosie's opinion, okay? That's what he's saying on the situation. Boosie says that these two freaky-ass people and nobody should be going to jail. He said something again the other day saying, if anything, this should be a domestic violence abuse case, not a sex trafficking case. She enjoyed the wild sex parties and the extravagant gifts on the back end. All of those years of sex parties, and you mean to tell me she didn't enjoy it? I'm convinced she enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure she came during those freak-offs. It was a lifestyle. This was consensual. She was his girlfriend trying to give someone life in prison for this. This is bullshit. Someone says, FBI, take your pick through this comment section. No, you can't take people to jail just for agreeing with that. That's going to be some people's opinions, and that like very well could be some people in the jury's opinions. It can be. It can be, man. It can be. All right, so I'm still trying to see if some more things are popping up to see people's perspective before we move on to the next things, the next conversations, bro. Because we got some other topics that we want to get into. Hold on, give me a second. What's this over here? But this case, man, it's gonna be a long journey. A long journey, bro. What's this? But I didn't know, like, okay, they brought this point up right here. I did not know that it was some point that that Diddy overdosed. I didn't know about that at all. So they said Diddy overdosed on opiates in 2012 after having a freak off, going to a sex club, and the Playboy Mansion says the two called each other get high partners. I didn't know that he overdosed. Like, I don't even know if that ever became public, if that was a thing that got public. But Diddy could have been out of here, man. That's crazy. But he must have had a lot of shit on hands to make sure that, he was straight. But that's what I'm seeing all the blogs report right now is how chick overdosed. Let me see some more things. I'm trying to see. I want to know, like, what some lawyers are thinking about how things are going so far. because I got my perspective, but I always like seeing what the lawyers' perspectives are. That's watching this, because I told y'all before, this is like the battle of lawyers. It's about what you can prove in court, not what's right and wrong. We're not gonna have a slam dunk. What else? We're not gonna have a slam dunk situation with a smoking gun right here. It's all gonna be about what's proven to the jury, what the jury believes. I think it's probably too soon though. All right, what's this right here? It's entertainment tonight. Do we got any lawyers up here? All right, let me see what this lady that's talking about over here. I don't know who she is, but she look important.
Do you prove or suggest that Cassie was a willing participant in all of this?
I think the defense naturally is trying to poke holes sort of in some of the earlier testimony that Sean Combs was always the person in control and that Cassie Ventura was forced into these situations. So the defense all day have really been laying out a lot of text messages and a lot of emails that tell the story of a very complicated relationship from the very beginning. In fact, in 2007, they showed the jurors an email where Ventura basically says after 2 months of having a kiss with Combs and saying that's when their relation started after her 21st birthday. After their relation started 2 months later, jurors saw an email where she basically says, I love you. I'm so excited to be a part of this relationship with you. How she had plans of a future with him. So they're laying out somebody that was excited about the idea of being with Sean Combs at 21 years old and her future plans. But also a little bit of jealousy. In that same email, she makes reference to wondering if maybe Combs should have went after her friend, Carrie, and then said maybe you should have went with Carrie because she could help you or, do the things that you want her to do or something to that effect. But she also said, which I thought was really interesting in that email, Rachel, is I want to be the woman that you want me to be. Like almost this idea of teach me what it is I need to be to keep you happy. And that was 2 months into the relationship.
She's having to read these emails and these text messages out loud in court.
Yeah.
What is her demeanor like?
Her voice is low at times. The defense did tell her if it's too much, I can read them. But there were many times early on this morning where she read some of those explicit details where she is clearly excited about a freak off and talks about entertaining other people in the bedroom.
And what has Diddy's demeanor been in this cross-examination as well?
There was a moment where Sean Combs was nodding in agreement when they brought up a message that he sent her where he said, one of my favorite times of the freak-offs is when we're able to make love after. And then she responds, that's the same for me. Now, what's interesting here is that does match what she told prosecutors or what she's been telling the jury all along, which is she did this and she said, but she really wanted to spend time with him after the fact. So he was shaking his head at this message where he's almost, I guess, agreeing that he did say, without him saying it, he enjoyed having the freak-offs and then having sex with her after the fact. And her saying, I agree with you, I love having sex with you after too.
What has been the response from jurors today?
Jurors are paying attention. They have their notebooks in their hand. They're coming in, they're very alert, and I think this is one of those testimonies where you have no choice but to pay attention and almost be flabbergasted, obviously, at some of what you're hearing, because it's not only just insight into somebody's sex life, but the details are disturbing at times, especially during that prosecution testimony when we saw some of the alleged abuse or we saw pictures of her after a beating of some kind, according to her. But the jurors are definitely paying attention. I don't see anyone that's not keeping their focus on Cassie Ventura, and also I noticed them taking notes a lot of times.
And the children, as they were exiting court yesterday, 2 of the girls were seen crying. How emotional have they been in court? Again,
I cannot imagine if that was my father or somebody close to me up there and having to hear details of their sex life. Those are young women. They lost their mother, one of them, the twins. So no one can probably quite understand what it is that they're going through. But I think that's something that you think about on both sides, you know, to look at Alex Fine, which is Cassie Ventura's husband, and think about him having to listen to all that's being said about the type of woman that Cassie Ventura was versus the person that's expecting, you know, their third child together now. So whether it's Combs's family or Ventura's family that's there to support her, her brother and her husband, Alex Fine, I think it's difficult on both sides.
I'm hearing at one point in time, you have acknowledged this as well, that as Diddy was listening to the cross-examination, he was nodding his...
I know. Can't avoid it. And we see this throughout the trial. People running by or rolling by, if you will, with music playing. I've heard the Me and You song by Cassie Ventura, which kind of made her famous. And we just heard one of Diddy's songs as we're doing this interview.
Right. You had previously said that Diddy was nodding in agreement to some of the text messages that Cassie was reading out loud. I've also heard that Diddy was taking notes.
Oh, yes.
As well?
Oh, yeah.
At what point was he taking notes?
I've seen him taking notes from the beginning. I see him put his glasses on. He gets very close to the screen when they're reading some of those text messages. So he's paying attention.
Now, Ventura confirmed that she and Combs had conversations about a swingers lifestyle, but that the freak-offs, they were very different.
Yeah, so she talked about this idea where I guess Combs wanted her to watch him have sex with another woman. She said that happened 2 or 3 times, but that he mentioned it frequently.
Kim Porter came up today in testimony. What was the significance there?
The defense said early on that this case would be about infidelity, love, and jealousy. And this is where they brought that up today when they brought up Kim Porter's name. The defense asked Cassie Ventura, are you jealous or were you jealous of Kim Porter? And Ventura sort of contemplated, but did get to this moment where she said, knowing that Combs spent holidays with his family, which meant with Porter, did bother her. And she admitted that. They also pointed out that there was testimony where she talked about being insanely jealous overall as a girlfriend. So, yeah.
We're hearing the judge wants Cassie off the stand tomorrow. Will the prosecution and the defense get equal time?
Yeah, as long as there aren't any additional motions, I think that is the goal, to have her off the stand by tomorrow.
Why do you think that? What's the reasoning behind wanting her off the stand tomorrow?
In the very beginning, Rachel, they told us that she would likely be on that stand 2 to 3 days. So here we are. Tomorrow we'll make that 3rd day.
All right, man. So that's someone that was actually there, Jerica Duncan, speaking on the situation. Right now, there's some other news surrounding Diddy. You know, a lot of the crazy lawsuits, they're still dropping, even though the trial is here. The trial is here. These people have not been included in the trial. So obviously a lot of these things that these lawsuits have been alleging is cap, or the victims are capping. They're not actual victims. They're just trying to get money grabs, because when it came to the feds, they probably heard or came across their story and thought it was stupid, thought it was dumb. But nevertheless, people are still filing lawsuits. So this lady filed a lawsuit, and they got some people going crazy and reacting to what's said in it. So they said Diddy sued, raped me with the Tootsie Roll size penis. So Diddy raped the woman at his Manhattan apartment but the woman said she was actually relieved when he whipped out his penis because she knew it wouldn't hurt that much due to a lack of length and girth, at least according to the new lawsuit. That's fucking insane. And of course, the person that got a kick out of the situation is none other than 50 Cent. Okay. So 50 posted this on his page, laughing, saying, Tootsie Roll to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right, to the front, now slide. He says, LOL, that's why he in the corner masturbating, okay? 50 believes that that's the reason why Diddy likes, he likes doing the things that he likes doing with Cassie, because he cannot please her himself. That's what he's alluding to. 50 Cent, people, he'll be here all week. He'll be all week. I think he has some more things that he's talking about on the shit. He's been keeping up with every damn thing. Let me see what he's saying lately. Man. 50 always. If you want to watch 50's page just to keep updated with a lot of stuff, he gonna keep you on point. Oh, so he brought Jay-Z into the situation. So he said, friends to the end. Jay, you still there? We blew up Kid Cudi's car to show him who's boss. Hey, this nigga's funny. Hey, boy, I hope 50 ain't got no type of skeletons in his closet, because people are waiting They waiting for your day, my guy. They waiting for your day. But he did. I think he's under the impression, dog, if I do have my day, all my ops, they gonna be celebrating. So while I got a chance, I'm gonna go out here and live it. I'm gonna go ahead and laugh in these folks' face. All right, now let's go ahead and move on to the next story, though. If I see some more things about Diddy, we'll pull back to it. But the latest situation we've been talking about is that things escalated quickly for Chris Brown, and people are laughing at him, dog. They're happy that he got arrested because it all started with him supporting Tory Lanez. Now, a couple days ago, we can get to this in a second, but a couple days ago, Tory Lanez was stabbed. And then, you know, the other day we went over the press conference. We went over that press conference with Tory Lanez where I'm not going to play the full press conference. I'm going to pull up my shit real quick to update, keep you guys updated with what happened in that press conference. But they basically said that Megan Thee Stallion possibly had something to do with him being stabbed. That's what they're talking about. And also that Cassie admitted that she's the one who pulled the trigger to her driver at the time of the trial. So I'm going to walk y'all through the story and how we led to Chris Brown being laughed at for being arrested.
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Cassie Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun.
After over 2 years in prison without incident, Tory was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Megan Pete's team, Cassie Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case. You don't have to believe in conspiracies to see the pattern. When evidence was about to come to light, Tory was nearly killed. So let's stop pretending this is complicated. Let's stop treating this like some cultural war flashpoint. This is about a man, a father, a son, Daystar Peterson, who has sat in a prison cell for over a year based on a case that wouldn't pass the smell test in any honest courtroom.
All right, man. So let me talk to you. Now, you hear what they're alluding to. They're basically on a conspiracy that Megan Thee Stallion had to have something to do with him getting stabbed, because right after they was about to drop some information that could throw off her claim or what got Tory caught up in the situation. You know, she had to go ahead and get him stabbed up. That's what they're saying, that she had something to do with it. Her team had to do with it. That's what they're trying to say without saying. They want people like me to go ahead and say that's what happened. All right. Now, this dude, I'm not so familiar with him, but he is a YouTuber that covers a lot of things that's going on. I believe was affiliated in Mexican cartels or something like that. I don't know for sure, but he is a gang member, I believe. And he also, I think they say he served 10 years in California jails. I'm not sure. If you guys are familiar with this YouTuber, let me know. But he's saying that this is the reason that Tory Lanez was stabbed. Let me know what y'all think, if y'all believe this. But he's saying this is the reason that Tory Lanez was stabbed.
Hey, once again, I got to hit you guys with some crazy information. So I did a little digging, and this is about Tory Lanez. This is the person that stabbed him in Tehachapi State Prison, and I'll tell you guys why. Now, the video I did before was just saying that there was a false narrative going on about a Mexican trying to extort him and make him pay taxes, and everybody ran with that theory. I said, no, it was personal. Now, if a Mexican was to do it, it was, yada, yada, yada. But the reason this took place is this dude was a nice guy, respectful inmate, got into a lot of trouble though. He stabbed a couple inmates in prison. He's doing life without the possibility of parole for 2.
Nice guy, my ass. The fuck you talking about? Nice guy got into a little trouble though. Stabbed a couple of inmates. What the fuck you talking about?
For inmate, got into a lot of trouble though. He stabbed a couple inmates in prison. He's doing life without the possibility of parole for 2 murders. And he was in education. He was working in the educational department, respectful, but he happened to be Tory Lanez's neighbor. And at visit, he was flirtatious with his wife. And his wife immediately told her husband. They went back, got confrontational, and Tory Lanez was on a tear saying that he was going to F his wife because she likes black dudes. That's what really happened. And I had to go do some digging. I had to go. People kept asking me to go look it up, and I made contact with Tehachapi State Prison to finally get the story down, because a lot of people kept saying it was black on black, and he tried to get a black DP'd and all that, and he was paying other people for protection to have other people hid and trying to be the shot caller on the yard. Then I heard Mexicans did it, and I was like, all right, now let me just get to the bottom of it, since everybody's throwing like 202 stories about it. But that is the information. That is what happened. He was being disrespectful towards his neighbor's wife at visit.
All right, now that's what dude's saying. Take it with a grain of salt, but that's what he's saying. I ain't got a story. I ain't gonna lie to you. That sound more realistic than the Megan Thee Stallion getting this Mexican dude to just randomly stab this nigga up. That sound much more realistic. But both could be lies, and either or could be the truth. I don't know. I ain't got no dog in this fight. I'm just sharing this information with y'all. All right. Now, when it comes down to it, dog, like, let me go ahead and check. Let me go to Tory Lanez's page, but I know they still running this campaign for them to get the signature. Okay. All right. So let's see where it's at right now. So he has 120,000 signatures signed to urge Governor Newsom to correct a deep injustice. They want to get him pardoned. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm going to tell you right now, bro. Tory has to advocate for himself, but he's not going to. He's not going to. In his mind, for whatever reason, he thinks snitching is a bad thing. He still want to be on that same shit. And I keep saying over and over again, every single time I cover it, I'm going to keep saying the same thing because my opinion's not going to change. He needs to pull a gunner or whomever. People don't care about snitches anymore. I'm sure a lot of your fans will support you if you decide to take the stand. They're going to support you. Because if you're trying to do whatever to save your career, it's already harmed. It's already fractured in the first place. If you truly didn't do this shit, say what happened. Say what happened. So all this other things, trying to rely on hearsay or whatever, because that's what the defense, that's what the prosecution or the state is going to say, that it's hearsay with regards to that driver, because Kelsey not going to come up there and admit to that damn conversation. Bruh, it's just going to be something else to continue to prolong the case when you yourself can come out and say what exactly happened. So listen, unless this man want to go ahead and speak for himself, bro, I don't know what we're going to do over here to support Tory that's going to actually lead to some change in the situation. Now, to show y'all what recently happened, which is kind of interesting, not recently, but on these lyrics over here, he let it be known like how you feel about this shit. All right, so he had a song with Diddy, and I can't play the song, but I'm gonna go ahead and read the lyrics to the song. All right, so it says, sticks to my cell and I think about the rumors and the shit that they selling. The money in my pocket is heavy. I can't even count it. I just got to get it, go scale it, and fuck it. Let's talk about the rumors. They sent me to prison and gave me a 10-piece because I wasn't telling. But I made an oath to the city to never go snitching, even if it killed me or make me a felon. All right, bro. All right. He's not telling. He's not telling. Bruh. I don't know what to tell you, bruh. That's the last resort. If you want to hold it down for 10 years, man, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We got to get out that mentality, though. That's a lot of folks' mentality, but we got to get out of that mentality. All right, now, this dude put this up right here. Let me see what the fuck this is. I think it's going a little viral. What the fuck is this?
Tory Lanez case is being revisited. Evidence came out showing that there was a 0.01% chance of the gun being in Tory Lanez's possession at any time in the car. It was actually shown that the passenger seat most likely had the gun, and in the passenger seat was somebody named Cassie, who was Megan's best friend. Well, Kelsey's bodyguard recently came out and said that yes, she had the gun and not Tory. She said Kelsey fired it 3 times, dropped it, and then the gun fired by itself twice. This happened after Tory got impaled in prison, and the bodyguard said it's weighing too heavy on his conscience to not come up and speak out about this. Tory Lanez was impaled 14 times and has multiple hits put on him since this happened. Furthermore, unknown DNA was found on the weapon. However, they never tested Kelsey for her DNA, at least to anyone's knowledge. So many people are saying, why wouldn't Tory just come out and say that? He's a rapper who doesn't believe in snitching. And he actually shouldn't have gotten more than 1 to 3 years in prison, even if he was taking the fall. However, he got 10 because they gave him an enhancement weapon charge, which they only use for severely dangerous criminals. Now with the hits also being put on him, Kelsey's bodyguard, Megan's best friend, came out and said, I can't hold this in anymore. Kelsey also received immunity from the prosecution and pleaded the fifth and didn't have to answer Tory Lanez's question. We will see how things play out from here. Tory.
All right, now, what we at with it? Alex Spiro. Alex Spiro, that's Megan Thee Stallion's lawyer. You know, he works for Rock Nation, says Tory Lanez was tried and convicted by a jury of his peers, and his case was properly adjudicated through the court system. This is not a political matter. This is a case of a violent assault that was resolved in the court of law. All right. Now, one of the people that supported Tory Lanez after this news came out was Chris Brown. He put out a free Tory tweet, but then shortly after that, the next day, he was arrested because reportedly arrested in Manchester hotel in connection with a 2023 nightclub incident. Now, that set social media off, especially people that were on Megan Thee Stallion's side. People that was on Tory's side, they like, oh, Rock Nation. They had to go ahead and, you know, try to prove a point with them for woody. Now, let me get to some of the responses. Chris Brown posted free Tory yesterday and got arrested today. They laughing at the man. Chris Brown wrote same thing, laughing at the man. So they approved Chris Brown's visa just to snatch him up as soon as he landed. Blaming Rock Nation when Chris Brown has been putting his hands on people since the Bush administration. Tory stabbed Chris Brown in jail. Drake botched body. And now Justin broke. Don't play in Megan's face. Chris Brown got arrested this week. Just keeps getting better.
I love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
All right. Chris Brown posting free Tory, and now he over there locked up in the UK. All right. So I am not too familiar with this story as far as what happened in the UK. I know my boy Chiggs covered this situation. Shout out to my dog Chiggs Move. I know y'all always show love to this page, man. I'm happy for my dog over there. Now let's see Chiggs coverage on this, see this, so I can see what happened in London.
YouTube, Chiggs. Get ready. You know what to do, Chiggs.
Listen, Chiggs Smooth. Hey, Chiggs Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Oh, nah, not my guy Briz Breezy. Not Mr. These Hoes and Loyal. Just hours after Chris Brown said free Tory Lanez, he gets locked up, you guys. This is a nasty, nasty game. Now, I'm not sure who's behind this arrest. We're not gonna speculate. We're not gonna put out any narratives out there.
My God Almighty, I call heaven and earth to be a record today. That Rock Nation, you will crumble.
But Chris Brown was arrested early this morning in Manchester. This all stems from a 2023 nightclub assault in London. Now, Chris, come on, dog. You've been in the game for how many years now? Somebody from your team should have told you, hey, dog, we could go to Europe, but let's just skip over London.
I don't get that part. Like, why the hell did he go back there when you got, you got this on your head? Why did he do that?
I told you, hey, dog, we could go to Europe, but let's just skip over London. You still got some shit over there that you never took care of. This was clearly an oversight by somebody in Chris Brown's team. Now, back in 2023, Chris Brown beat the living shit out of a producer called Abe Diao. According to the producer in the lawsuit, Chris Brown inflicted severe and lasting injuries on him after beating him over the head with a bottle of Don Julio 1942 tequila. But it doesn't stop there. Not only did Chris Brown beat Buddy with a bottle of 1942, but Chris Brown decided, nah, that's not enough. He ruthlessly stomped on him before kicking him in the back of the neck, which he said left him unconscious for 30 seconds. He was eventually sent to the hospital with lacerations on his head and torn ligaments in his leg. Bro was trying to do the music producer like Tory got done in prison. As of right now, Chris Brown is still in custody and being held on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm to music producer Abe Dial. Now, if you're Chris Brown, the best scenario for you is to hope you get hit with a petty fine, take care of the lawsuit, whatever amount you gotta pay, and get up out of London. Chris Brown has a huge tour coming up next month, starting June 8th. And funny enough, he's got a couple dates in London and Manchester as well. The tour is called Breezy Bowl and it's with Janae Aiko, Summer Walker, and Bryson Tiller. And this is a huge tour that spans from June all the way to October.
Seemed like a fun ass tour, right? For R&B lovers, R&B and soul lovers.
Last thing you want to have happen is to cancel this tour. There's a lot of moving parts that's already been in place. There's money invested. And I'm sure Chris is going to make a nice little bag from this tour. For the most...
Bro, what's so crazy to me as I see this shit is like, no matter how much people talk shit about Chris Brown or talk shit about how they feel about domestic violence, you know, people, you know, accuse people who did that shit. I don't know why the word isn't coming to my mind. He's still headlining this tour with some heavyweights. Summer Walker, Janae Aiko. He's still headlining this damn tour.
This is going to make a nice little bag.
So that shows you it's all about if the person likes you or not, if they're going to look over some situations.
From this tour. For the most part, over the last couple of years, Chris Brown has been staying out of trouble. He's been staying out the way. If you guys look closely, he really doesn't mess with too many artists. But unfortunately for Chris, regarding this incident in London, he has nobody to blame but himself. There should never be a situation where you're putting hands, feet, and bottles on anybody. Let's amend prayers out to Chris. I hope this situation does not turn into something crazy, and hopefully he does not have to cancel or reschedule the tour. You guys get in the comments below. What do you guys make of Chris Brown being arrested in London? Post your comments below. Scratch.
I don't know nothing about the London judicial system. Let me show love to my boy. Yeah. I don't know nothing about that judicial system, but good luck to that nigga right there, man. That's crazy as hell. Alright, so that's what's going on in that situation with Chris Brown, how he got himself caught up into this media storm by showing love to Tory. You know, he probably would have still been arrested if he went to London, but that made the story more sweeter for Megan Thee Stallion fans. Huh? That's how the stand shit work, boy. The stand shit, hey, they don't hold no punches. Alright, now let's talk about DDG. So, the blogs are eating the story up. They breaking this thing down like a kilo. They are going through the story and DDG keep popping up. So lately, the latest update is that Halle has been granted sole custody of Halo until their June court date. So we already know that she had sole custody after filing the restraining order. You guys don't remember, you don't know, she's accusing him of abuse. We did go over everything last night. We went through the paperwork. To be real, she admitted that they both were fighting. In the big incident when she got the scars and the chipped tooth, they were fighting. It was a mutual combat. He's a man. He overpowered her, probably went too far and smashed. Somehow her face got smashed on the damn steering wheel. She said he did it. It was his fault. Chipped the tooth. And that's when they stopped fighting, when she started crying, and then she went with him to the house. That was the big physical altercation. But there were other incidents of harassment based on what she's saying. And all these things led to the judge saying, okay, for now, I'm going to go ahead and give you temporary sole custody until June 4th. All right. June 4th is when they're going to have a hearing, and that's when we're going to hear from DDG's side. So this entire time, I'm pretty sure he's going to get his legal teams together. They're going to prepare their argument, and we're going to see the response to the situation. Another thing that we went over yesterday is that it's pretty much clear that he is trying to work on something as far as them having some type of visitation schedule. She's saying that he isn't, but while saying that he isn't, she also mentioned this. Hold up. She also mentioned that More recently, this has become extremely upsetting to me because Daryl refuses to work with my attorney to set up any set schedule. Instead, he is threatening that he would take our son 50% of the time and pay me zero support. All right, so he wants to do 50%, but doesn't want to pay child support. So maybe what she's offering is unreasonable to him. It may not. We don't know what it is. I ain't even gonna speculate on it, but maybe it's unreasonable. It has to be, for her to have this right here in writing, he had to have said something as far as what he wants to do. So we went over the full restraining order, everything that's written up. It sounds, a lot of things sound horrible for DDG, but that's the design of it. It's supposed to sound horrible for him, for her to be able to be granted this temporary restraining order, and she was given it. And over here, what they put up here. Okay, let me see. Because they got into the detail on People Magazine. Okay. So it's the same thing I said earlier. The Angel single requested sole custody of the toddler after she alleged the 27-year-old rapper, whose real name is Daryl Dwayne Granberry, abused her physically and emotionally. The temporary restraining order, which orders the Twitch streamer to remain over 100 yards away from Belly and Halo at all times, expires on the court hearing scheduled for June 4th. So that's when it expires, and they'll have the conversation. And also, as of now, I don't know if this is what's going to go into place, but she's asking for this. So Bailey also asked the judge to order her ex-boyfriend not be allowed visitation with his son. However, she requested that DDG be given supervised visits with a professional company once a week for 6 hours with Halo, while Halo is in Los Angeles. So additionally, Belly is asking the court to prevent DDG from taking their son outside of the county of Los Angeles. She also requested an order to prevent the child abduction, saying that DDG has a history of abusing her, taking away or hiding Halo from her, threatening to take away or hide Halo from her, and not cooperating with her in parenting. Bailey asked that a judge order DDG not to travel with Halo without her written permission, and to turn it in or not apply for passports or other important documents for their son. If he does travel with Halo with her permission, she's asking the judge to order that DDG provide his travel schedule, copies of round-trip airline tickets, addresses, and phone numbers where they can be reached, and an open airline ticket for her if Halo is not returned. I just think that shit should be vice versa. Like this stuff in this portion right here, it should be for both parents as well. It should be for both parents. That's my thoughts on that situation. There's a lot of things that I think is going to get ironed out. I hope he has a good argument when it comes down to it. But like certain things as far as what's going on with the Brent Fayez shit, man, that shit don't fucking matter, bro. If she, like, his people, his homies are researching, trying to figure out what's going on. If he was really with, if Brent Fayez was really with Halle on a vacation recently. So they looking at her phone, trying to match the phone. And they got this picture of Brent right here. And these niggas zoomed in on the hat of the girl that's taking the picture. In this right here. They zoomed in. They looking at the design of the hat. And they posted a picture of Halo saying, Halo must be wearing the same hat. That's crazy as hell. Now, is it a hat? I don't know. The design looks kind of different, but it also looks similar. I don't know, but it's to keep a G, it don't fucking matter. Because the concern should strictly be whether or not he should get if he's able to get a child or not. What she's doing, if she's dating and things of that sort, or doing things while they're together or not, bro, you gotta just eat that. It's unfortunate, but that's what comes with this shit, dog. That's what comes with this shit. But he should be able to get his son. I'm never gonna go against that shit, bro. I don't like a lot of these things that's going on. All right, so next story though. So I don't know if you guys know about the Aiden Ross situation where Aiden Ross was going off on Doechii. We covered that the other day. And he's revealed that since then, he's lost a lot of brand deals for talking shit about Doechii, as well as DDG losing brand deals. They speak about it here.
I'm so mad at. My PR was finally getting better. I had 2 deals lined up. Same with Diddy. I was talking to him. Lost both my deals. On God.
Yo, they fucked up DDG shit yesterday, didn't they?
Yes, bro. They fucked up my shit, his shit. Like I had an ad deal too I was gonna do. Bro, I'm mad as fuck. I was like, fuck. Like, it's not even about the money. It's just because, like, I want to do it. Because it's like, damn, it was a big ad. It was a big deal. So it's like, fuck. But all good, man.
I know you're not gonna say what it is, but I also seen Ray from AMP. He said he lost his Adidas. Yo, could you really be yourself?
Ray lost his Adidas deal because he commented you're under your age and called him a monkey, but like use monkey emojis. Because your age put like Chinese shit under the comments, and he replied with like monkeys. That's like why. So, you know, like Adidas and them, they don't play that shit. Like, Rage lost his deal originally because of that whole clip, the Kevin clip, right? But yeah, bro. I mean, you know what's crazy? Oh, my God. That's just the way it is, bro. That's the reality of how the world works. I mean, you know how it is, bro.
Yo, I think Kai is the only streamer clean enough to, like, really be aligned with brands. Like I know your brand is called Brand Risk, but, like, I think being a streamer is being a brand risk.
I don't even know, man. It's so hard to act. I was doing so good, bro, and it's just so hard, bro. The good news is I could collab, but that's just the way it is, bro. That's the reality of how it.
Nah, bro, the shit comes down to some people just aren't entertaining unless they being assholes in a certain type of way. Or they just trying to be controversial. That's the reason why they get their clicks, get their views. And if that's all you lean on to get your clicks and views, then you are going to be a brand risk. Kai's able to be entertaining without having to resort to doing that type of shit. Like I told y'all before, Aiden Ross is not he's not funny. I don't find him funny at all. Only time he was funny to people is when he was doing the gay jokes, putting niggas in awkward gay positions. That's the only time he was funny before. But if you guys want to be refreshed on what happened with him and Doechii, let me go ahead and bring this shit real quick. All right. So he said this to Doechii. He said this about Doechii.
I hope everyone. Oh, Doechii rant. Oh, dude, don't get me started on that bitch. Hey, don't get me started on that bitch. Don't get me started on that industry plant. Don't get me started. You guys can say shit whatever you want about me, but one thing about me is I'm not an industry plant. I've been streaming for like a long time now. Fuck Doechii. The umbrella clip pissed me off. What an entitled, unintelligent piece of shit she is, bro. She deserves, bro. I'm not joking, bro. Stop listening to her music. Cardi and Abel. Why would you give her a feature on a remix? You shouldn't have cleared it. She's just the worst. She's a piece of shit. She stole someone that I used to know. She makes no good music. She's horrible. Jake Future, what's up, my dog? So fuck Doechii. Fuck Doechii. Fuck Doechii. Okay? She has zero talent. I call out talent.
Alright, so Doechii responded to him by simply saying, "Shut up, cracker." Alright, that was her response to him. And he got the response, and also the brands responded to him by cutting off the deals. Interesting. Like I told you, I don't find this nigga to be as entertaining. I think people tolerate him because of his fans, and they use him. They use him. He says it himself. People use me. The streamers, they use me. And, bruh, when you do the type of shit you do, don't be surprised that they use you. Say the type of shit you say, don't be surprised that they use you. My thing is, bruh, that's going to happen more often than not if you are in another world. Let's say, for instance, you come over to hip-hop world to go ahead and get your views or to get your collaborations and things of that sort. But when it comes down to it, the people within that world don't respect you. That's why you have people like Playboy Cardi finessing you out of all the money that he finessed you out of. They don't respect you. So just go to your world where you're respected. Leave us the fuck alone. And you expect us to care about your opinion on certain shit? Fuck out of here, man. But yeah, people using them. And that's happening a lot with these streamers. Now I'm seeing the situation. I haven't watched this clip, but I'm seeing it start go viral. And Coco Jones is hanging out with a streamer named Talil. Y'all know Coco Jones, the singer. She dates Donovan Mitchell, but she's also known herself for doing a lot of things. She was on the Bel Air show. And also, she just recently put out an album. Now, she's been doing promo with the streamer Talil. You guys may have seen Talil on Cassie stream several times. He's closer to Cassie. Lives within the Cassie content house that he just cranked up. But they saying Talil gets sad as Coco Jones forgot her mic was on and said she was using him for promo and has to get her team to get him to end stream. What? I'm watching this for the first time. I don't even know if it's accurate, but let me see. They saying her mic. They people saying that something about a mic. Let me see.
Or the mic. This man is on live, y'all. Let his
for promo. It's for promo.
Coke,
Huh?
can I get your mic?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. They kept saying, oh my God, her voice. I'm wondering like what they told me. They like, oh, she got the mic on still.
I'm crying.
Disrespect anybody or disregard the rules. No. I'm gonna just, and that's something that I genuinely I just didn't know, and I don't want to disrespect you or Coco, but it's just a lot of confusion. So I'm gonna just, and it's okay.
So just so you understand, because we're union building, anything of that kind of stuff does trigger fees. That's the reason why. I don't want to be like no and not explain to you why. But yeah.
Whoa. That was awkward. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I see situations and captains be lying, but it's not that bad. But it can be perceived to be bad, and I'm sure that's why they wanted him to end the stream. But one more time.
Oh, the mic.
This man is on live, y'all. It's for promo. It's for promo.
Coke,
Huh?
can I get your mic?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. They kept saying, oh my God, her voice.
She ain't saying something. She ain't say anything negative about the stream, and she ain't say I'm just using him for a promo. But I don't know. Maybe this one of them situations that you like somebody, you give them a pass. Because I ain't never seen Coco just disrespecting anybody. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that she was just letting them know, like, hey, I know we live streamers be on point because we live. I don't know, but it is awkward. I don't know. Run this shit back one time.
Oh, the mic.
This man is on live, y'all. It's for promo. It's for promo.
Coke,
Huh?
can I get your mic?
Oh, yeah.
Are people mad at her for that shit though? What they saying in the comments? I don't know if she meant it in the wrong way, but it did come across like that. Yeah. Oh, hold on. That's crazy. She got caught bad though. Crazy. Oh man, insane. I don't know. They said, what else would it be for her? I mean, it is promo. Is she trying to explain to her team while we live streaming? It is promo. But I don't know. Ain't that big of a deal for me. But he seemed pretty chill about the situation. So I don't know. Hopefully it don't blow up to nothing crazy. But I did see some more things about the Diddy trial. I'm gonna check this out. This is Cassie's lawyer speaking. Let's see what's going on.
You talked about her credibility, right? I feel like yesterday made her seem, we empathized with her yesterday. Today, we're seeing that there may have been almost like a motive to her anger or her upset, which resulted in the lawsuit and now where we are today.
No, I mean, the facts, the text are the
with Gina,
text.
with Kim.
The facts are the facts, the texts are the texts, and I think that the evidence will be clear as the case goes on and Cassie's testimony goes on, and we'll see what the jury does.
They have to prove
I have to go. She's doing as best as she can. She's obviously, tired, as you would expect, but she's holding up great. I mean, it's a real tribute to her.
How do you feel like how they're flipping the script with the prom?
I don't think they're flipping any script. It just seems they're reconfirming the direct.
Do you feel like today made Diddy and everything that we saw in that video, it gave it an excuse for it?
I'm sorry?
Everything that we saw on the video in Intercontinental, do you feel like today's testimony from Cassie gave an excuse when they kept talking about the withdrawals from the drug abuse, which she had spoken to?
No, I mean, look, I don't know that. I don't think there's a legal defense to this case based on his drug use. So I'm not really sure what that's all about.
Look a little more excited today, though. Like they had a win today.
Oh, well, okay. Well, it's not really up to what Diddy's team thinks. It's not up to what I think. Actually, it's what the jury thinks. And
Do you feel any shame at all?
So
I don't know what he's thinking.
I saw Cassie touching her back and stretching and drinking lots of water. Do you think that the stress could possibly induce her to go in sooner?
I'm not a doctor. I'm just a lawyer. I have no idea. I hope
Does she
not.
seem
That's
okay
for sure.
when you've been speaking to her?
She seems great to me. She seems great.
Any word on how her husband is currently feeling?
I mean, I said it yesterday. If you were in his shoes, I think, this is difficult for him to watch, but he's holding up great.
What about the whole Suge Knight thing? Her saying that Diddy and his friends went without her, and then they brought it back that she said she went with them. Can that be damning in a sense?
I think that's just a minor point that unfortunately somebody got wrong when she was being interviewed. She didn't review those notes or anything like that. I think her testimony, the one thing about her testimony really is there's no credibility issues with her. The facts are the facts. She's telling them as they are, her truth, and they are what they are. This is not a typical cross-examination. There's no issues with her credibility.
What about the age?
All right, man. So that was a little quick little update right there with that, man. I did see this one situation. I've been waiting to check it out with y'all, man. It's this dude that's upset about finding his son was lent an iPad from his teacher and opened it up to find a group of gay men having sex. What the fuck? Let's see what's up with this situation, man.
Father of a third grader at Las Estrellas Elementary. Miss Director, I had emailed you. I had emailed the principal, the assistant principal, and the school social worker. My son, 2 weeks ago, was exposed to a group of, let's say, gay men having sex on the iPad. And how my son came about it was he forgot his laptop at home. And your teacher lent my son his personal iPad. Well, when my son was doing a project with some of the other kids in the classroom, all of a sudden they closed out a tab. There was a bunch of naked men sitting right there in front of my son. And then all the other kids that had seen this, hey, they were shocked. But what's crazy is that I haven't heard nothing since. I didn't get a response from our superintendent. I had a meeting with your guys' assistant superintendent, your guys' assistant principal, but nobody had the decency to make my son important enough to show up to that meeting in the morning to tell me why he was able to be exposed to this type of material. Now, I've heard about the situation that happened at your guys' high school, at North High School, with the teacher that was involved with sexually explicit material as well. To me, I don't care what team you bat for, but you guys gotta quit putting all this stuff in front of these kids, all this sexual material, regardless if it's a flag or if it's them actually seeing the content on an electronic device that is in school. Now, I came to you guys last time arguing about security factors with the students about how they were roaming around. Now, dude, you guys literally I was told that you guys weren't gonna inform the other parents in this classroom. Like, you guys will tell us if a student gets lice, if a student gets COVID, if he gets the flu, but you guys will not tell all the parents in the classroom that their kids were exposed to sexual explicit material. And I think that's weird. It's weird because how can you send out a text message about all these other things, but you can't tell parents that their kids were exposed to this? Now, my son, one of 6 kids.
Please finish your comment.
My son, one of 6 kids, was the only one to speak up about this and the only one to make it known. So now I ask y'all, what are y'all planning to do about this? How are y'all gonna protect these children and hide this material from them? Because it's everywhere in this world right now, especially here. You guys gotta protect these kids. And if y'all, as parents, students, and everything. Thank you for your time, sir. If you guys want to see a difference, start looking at their paychecks. Y'all want change? Look at their paychecks. That's how you guys.
Thank you for your comment. Treasure Thorson.
All right, now I seen somewhere that dude was put on leave from his job or something like that. I seen somewhere that they put him on leave. I don't know how true is that. I mean, I'm trying to find it to see if I seen that, but what the hell what's going on with that, man? So what I did here was that it was a teacher. The teacher forgot, and it was the teacher's personal iPad. And the teacher forgot that that stuff was on there. I'm trying to see if I can find it over there. I mean, if it's that child, son. Yeah, I'm not finding it, but they said that dude was put on leave for the situation, which is wild as hell if that's the case, man. You should be able to say what you want to say about that, especially your son get caught up in some situation like that, bro. Dude shouldn't be put on leave for that, man. But yeah, man. So we got caught up with the situation as far as the Diddy trial and everything. I'm about to go ahead and get these clips up for y'all and come back to with some more content probably later or tomorrow as far as some new updates or other things. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with the live. We're gonna wrap this up right here. I gotta go hit this